All right, let's have a conversation. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use community screenshots in order to teach a lesson. Let's talk about it. So as I say all the time, I've been teaching people for a very long time, trading for a very long time, seeing the market through the eyes of others as they go through their learning journey. There's a lot of similarities in people, especially mindset wise, because most people come from very similar environments. So, you know, when I say certain things, it's because it's time to start saying this. For example, yesterday, 11:45 a.m., I'm saying, hey, be very careful with the lazy pending order approach. Don't do the noob thing of forgetting a pending order somewhere. I know I said that on Sunday because it's just, I just know that somebody out there is doing this and not listening at all. This person said, you warned the group. What are the odds you get messages from someone later crying about a big loss on gold? I said 10,000%. When the market reacts violently, I'll get a message. Okay. And then he said, can't say they weren't warned. Ha ha ha. Never a dumb moment in the group. I love that about it. These are good learning lessons. Alas, the market taught me a lesson while I was asleep. And to be fair, you did warn me, G, so I'm not even going to bitch about it. I'm still up, but holy shit, I've been humbled. Definitely will not let it affect my psychology, but a fat lesson learned. I'm too worried I'll grow the account again. I'm not too worried. I'll grow the account again. But I definitely need to reflect very well. I did the new mistake of leaving 3 pendings running with a $2 lot, and well, gold did the rest of the damage. Okay. And I want to couple this with yesterday's midweek recap. I also had a conversation about people's mindset, a conversation of how giving the money importance is always holding you back. Why would you put a pending orders? If your account can't even handle $6 a pip and you've been successful at $1 a pip, $10.50 a pip, $2 a pip, that's making you 4 figures, right? That's making you $500 withdrawals, $1,000 withdrawals, and you've done this more than once. Why would you raise the risk to $6 a pip, right? Do we ever think about it that way? Now, you know that I'm very careful about not becoming Tony Robbins here, but I am into the psychology of people. I find it fascinating how people create these ideas in their heads out of thin air, and whether they're right or wrong, or experience and no experience. Like I told you in yesterday's video, I can feel it in the air when people are losing themselves in the market, right? They're relying on something that's been happening so much. It's starting to become easy. And if you look at it as easy and not you just having a certain amount of second nature and a system where you just kind of, this is how you do it, you're going to get yourself in trouble. It's not easy. It's just that you're getting used to it. And if you are doing the right things and that's what you're used to, you have a process and that's what you're used to, you're probably going to feel that it's easy, but it's because you have gotten significantly better. You know what's not part of that? Leaving pending orders on a seller's market on gold because we're hitting all-time highs. And even when you have a conversation with someone like me and they tell you, hey, don't raise the risk, don't do this, don't do that, you do all of it. You got to ask yourself, why did you do that? Now, some people, it's just plain old greed. Some people, it's for beautiful reasons, like they want to buy their mama a house, you know, maybe it's an emergency and they need the money. There's a lot of reasons, but they all stem from the same thing. I need the money. I need the money. The more financial pressure you have on your shoulders and the more you think about it when you're on the charts, the harder it's going to be. In yesterday's video, I told you, it's the haves keep getting, and the have-nots, they get screwed over, right? The rich get richer, as they say. Is that networking and connections and experience? Yes, yes, and yes. It's experience. It's also not needing money. When you can let things play out, you just sometimes run into a good one. It's kind of like the people, I always like the Uber example. It looked like nothing. And those people who invested 50K made a shit ton. 100K, 150,000 made a shit ton. If somebody came to you and said, hey, for $1,000, I got this business that maybe not right now is going to be something, but this person is like, let's say it's like Gary V or Damon John or I don't know, Mark Cuban, Kevin O'Leary, the Sharks, right? They say they come to you, Barbara Cohen, they say they come to you and they go, hey, I got 1,000, I need an investor. I need $1,000, right? Why would they ask you for 1,000? Let's make believe 1,000 is a lot of money, right? I need $1,000, and you make I don't know, 10,000 a month, it's probably going to be real easy for you to go, fuck yeah, I'm going to invest in this, right? It's not that big of a deal. I'll probably end up burning this 1,000 on something else, something stupid. So might as well put it into an investment that maybe 5 years from now, from this very smart individual, might come back as 100,000, 250,000. Why not? Right? Now, the thing is that investing, usually they're not asking you for $1,000 unless they're fucking scamming you. So the way you got to look at it is this. It's easier to make money if you already have it, not just because of everything I just stated before, the experience, you know, not just because you got connections, right? You got access to education, you got network, but it's also because you can let loose a little bit with it. And it's not that big of a deal to you. To some, that $1,000 investment to somebody might be $1. Might as well be $1 to them. It's much easier to throw money around. Now, when we're trading, the truth is that for most people, what they're doing is they're trying to get lucky in order to build faster. What's the number one thing people think about? They want to withdraw and still have a good amount of money left in the account. So they try to push to a certain number, even when the market doesn't have it. And that's the trap. It's not about you. It's about what the market has. So this person who over leverages for $6 a pip on a 4-figure account on the very low side, they're asking for a blown account. There's no way that this is going to sustain. The truth is that this is not the first time he's done this, right? He's somebody who does withdraw and is seeing success. But I personally believe there is a level of, have you ever noticed that people will always say that it feels like the world is against them whenever they're trying to commit to change? And sometimes it might be your own family, and sometimes it might be the environment, right? You come from a hard environment. They see you trying to be something and they all hang out on the corner. You know, you're a weirdo. You read? Like, I mean, I used to hear things like that. What, you read? Right? You're on that computer, right? Go outside, play basketball. You're on that computer, like stuff like that. Or even when I was becoming an entrepreneur, what do you mean you can't go out for the weekend? Your environment doesn't want to see you change. You're a weirdo. You're trying to do something that's out of the realm of air quotes normal. It's kind of like when people back in the day, could you imagine 20 years ago, people with the basic phones recording and trying to make content? Can you imagine how weird that is? And nowadays, people stand outside in just regular everyday streets, going live and making believe they're robots and NPCs. Your environment does fight you a lot. It is a big part of change and why it's so hard to change something, build something, create something. But you know what? Who else does that? If people don't like it around you, that means you also have something like that within you that you have to overcome. Self-sabotage. I really believe in that, especially after teaching people for the last 10 years. People will see growth and then all of a sudden something happens in their life, right? Oh, but me and my wife's relationship is a little stressed out. I got to focus on that. It's something like they're afraid to finish this off. We talked about this in the beginning of the year. It's like they're subconsciously afraid to test themselves to see whether or not they can actually make this happen. So it's much easier after a bunch of wins to go, yeah, I could have kept winning, but I did something stupid. It's much easier to lay the responsibility of this fucked up thing or this thing that didn't go exactly how you wanted to the trophy of success on, it just so happened that I was, rough day, moral victory. It wasn't me. Life got in the way a little bit, but I'll get at it next time. But you still feel good because you did something, right? So at least you won. You're protecting your ego. For me, I've always thought about it that way, right? I minored in psychology in college. I can get a little wordy about shit like this, but what I'm really thinking about is just, why do people do this? He's not the only one. I see it all the time. That's why in the beginning of the year, goals and mindset video, I do these mindset style videos. Again, very careful. I don't want to be Tony Robbins. I don't want to tell people how to live. So I kind of do it in a way where the people who actually ask me for stuff like this, and for the things that I wish people would have told me and guided me with, I throw it out there for them. And if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, please, it is what it is. Things that show me self-sabotage. The pending orders littered in the middle of nowhere. I've never looked at a chart and gone, I can't see those pending orders. I fucking know when I have pending orders laying around in other places. All I got to do is open up the P&L and they're there. Right? open up the chart and it's on screen. How narrow is your screen? If you can't see pending orders that are 100 pips away on your screen, you're on a wrong time frame to actually watch the market, or get a bigger fucking screen. But I know it's the time frame, and I know most people are full of shit. Things like leaving pending orders in the middle of nowhere, over leveraging on trades, starting to win with a certain approach, and then just kind of letting loose and starting to shoot from the hip all over again. These are not just, I'm human making mistakes, right? This is also, I'm not serious enough yet to achieve the level that I want to achieve. I'm afraid to really give this a shot, right? I'm still worried about my ego and my feelings instead of actually what the fuck is right. I can almost get this goal. I'm like, my fingertips are about to touch the trophy of this goal. And I'm right there, but nah, I just don't want to reach out because what if I fucking miss? That's pretty much where my mind is at with a lot of people. I see it with people that are close to me as well, where you have all this talent, you have all this skill just fucking coming out of your pores. You're a smart person. But there's always somebody else that gets placed in front of you, right? You got to take your mom to the airport, your wife, your kids, your fucking grandma, your dog doesn't feel good, your family. I get it. Your family is important, but your family doesn't take up 24 hours of your day. And if you actually organize your time and were strict about it, you would be able to find time for everything. But you hide behind your family so that you don't have to find out whether or not you have the fucking skills to achieve the goals that you really want to achieve. That is my personal belief. I diagnosed this out of myself as well. You know what I used to talk about? Corporate is safe. I hated my corporate experience, but it's safe. It's safe. And what if I fail? And then at some point, I don't know what happened, conversations, seeing shitty lives in the eyes of other people, seeing people making good money, but just having no fulfillment whatsoever, feeling like a fucking robot for that many years. High-end corporate is not easy. It's not easy. There's a certain level of bullshit that you have to eat all the time. So I remember that. I remember every single time that I'm in something that I'm not really liking, and I'm still doing it because I'm afraid to go, fuck this, I don't like this, I'm moving on. I'm afraid of giving things I was afraid of giving things a real chance. It happened through my high school career, happened in college, right? It's a pattern that I saw in myself. That every single time that I started to see success in anything, which was a lot of things, because I kept jumping from thing to thing, doing the same thing, I would stop doing this and move on to something else because I got that micro win, but I don't want to find out if I could get the real win. And ultimately what I stuck to, what changed everything? Family. So the same thing that I also was hiding behind, family, I used them as the fuel as to why no more quitting, no more bullshit, no more laziness, massive accountability. That once I used them as the reason as to why I can't stop, I can't be afraid of starting my own business. I can't be afraid of putting my skill out there. I can't hide outside of social media where I don't really like doing shit like that. It makes me uncomfortable. I think it's stupid. I think it's fruity. I think it's dumb. At some point, I used my family as the fuel that I needed, instead of hiding behind them, as the fuel that I needed to fucking go into full focus mode all the time. Isn't that the thing some of you message me about all the time? How am I so consistent? Not just in the trading, my energy. Right now, do I have to make this? No. But I'm thinking about the value that I provide you every single day. It is who I am. This is now part of the system. It's weird when I don't do that. When it's too quiet, you'll see me pop up with something. Because at some point I realized you're being a little bitch. You're hiding. You don't want to find out. You don't want to find out 10 years from now if you didn't reach that goal. 15 years from now if you didn't reach that goal. 20 years from now if you didn't reach that goal. But then I grew up a little bit and I said, you know what I really don't want to feel? Fucking regret. So if 30 years from now, I didn't fucking make this happen, if I did everything right, it's not like I did anything other than use up my time. So you know what? I'm going to learn some stuff while I'm there. I know I will get some sort of wins. Maybe I'll never become the 100,000-aire or the $250,000 guy or the $1 million guy. Maybe nobody will ever pay attention to me as far as the trading, but fuck it. I'm going to give it the best I can give it until it just makes absolutely no sense anymore. And in this space, unless you're stupid, there's no reason why it never makes sense. Because if you're just paying, for example, a subscription fee, that's nothing. You burn that money doing anything. You go out to fucking Applebee's, Chili's right now, and you're going to burn the subscription fee for this community. You go out with your friends for some drinks, multiple subscription fees gone for multiple months. Trading could change everything, as you've seen with some of these testimonials. You could make all that money back and then some. You could put yourself in a situation that you never thought possible. You could change your whole shit. But people will fight themselves and self-sabotage because they're too afraid to miss target. So they'd rather just do it to themselves. It's just easier when it's like a slight little, I'll get them next time. That's how I knew. Because I've lived this already. Long time ago. I've seen other people live it and finally break it apart. That's also why I'm not like super sweet and nice, because super sweet and nice to me doesn't work. People don't hear that. You know what people hear? Truth and consequence. That's what makes the ears perk up. So what's the truth? The truth is that most people, when they are trying to achieve something, it's fucking scary, not because what you're doing right now is actually scary, but because you may miss and then you feel like you wasted time. But it's my opinion that regret is the number one thing that really fucking hurts. It hurts. There are things that I regret in this life that I could have done, could have tried, could have invested in, right? Bitcoin is a very good example. Could have put a lot of money on Bitcoin. I just didn't put enough. And it hurts every now and then. I will be fine. But things like that, it's like, fuck, can't get that back. There's no way. But if I spend my time worrying about stuff like that, the next one's always also going to slip by. What's the consequence? The consequence of not trying to achieve a target is regret. You get to a point where you feel like, fuck, this is pointless, right? Age, which I still don't think is true, but it hits a lot harder when you're older. It hits a lot harder when you could have made it happen and you see somebody else make it happen, right? Or you're the I remember when person. I remember when, but I've never done. You're the person who's talking about the things you could have done, not the things you've done. That shit stings. So that's the conversation. Stop sabotaging yourself. Let the market do the work. Stop over leveraging. Stop leaving pending orders, air quotes, accidentally. Stop going, let's see what happens. Stop trying to get to create shortcuts because you didn't, air quotes, do it right. So, for example, journaling. I don't journal, but if one day I journal, I know I definitely will get this. If one day I actually watch content, I know I'll definitely get this. If one day I actually follow what Gustavo's saying as far as being organized in my approach and not trying to Hail Mary and maybe looking at the asset and going, okay, this asset might not be for me, I'll actually get this. But instead, for right now, what I'm going to do to protect my ego and make sure that I always have that built-in excuse as to why I haven't gotten it, I'm going to do everything as wrong as possible. Every now and then I might try to do things right, but I'll always revert back to doing things in a lazy, fucked up way so that I know that I can always say, I'll get them next time when I fix it. Fuck it. Fix it now. Fix it now. And that's it. As always, happy trading.